Welcome back, everyone, to World Youth Day Rocks. I'm Dario from worldyouthday.com, joined by my good friend Deacon Pedro from WYD Central. And we're talking about things getting ready for Lisbon. This is episode 60.
Is
We've
it
done
60?
60 of these
60. That's
now
crazy.
to
That's
prepare you
crazy.
for Lisbon. And I think by now, like, if we have not prepared you by Lisbon, I am sorry. We did the best that we could.
Well, here's what I have. Look what I found. I have this little candle with the Toronto 2002 logo that I've redone my desk. So I have my little candle here reminding me I should light it every day is what I should be doing instead of just having the candle holder. But yeah, all the World Youth Day memorabilia.
Well, speaking of memorabilia, I don't know if anybody remembers this from Panama.
Yes.
This cool little packet here with the rosary.
Yes, with the rosary.
The rosary, right? I always love this, the fact that they brought this from Bethlehem.
Yeah,
This is really cool that I have this from Panama, and I also have mine from Krakow because they actually use wood ones,
Yeah. No,
not
those
the
were
plastic ones.
Yeah, super. Lots. So people are going to come back. So last time we were talking about packing. So
Yeah.
make sure that you don't pack too much because you need to have a little bit of room in your luggage, in your suitcase for all these things that you're going to bring back. Definitely the pilgrim kit. You got to make sure that it fits in there, and you're going to buy some things as well.
Oh, of
So
course.
don't overpack.
I mean, and the best part is like some of these trinkets that you're gonna get, like, the rosary or the water bottle. I mean, these are not that big and bulky things. And, of course, the World Youth Day Committee was very aware that we want to give you something that is not just going to be thrown away, at the same time that it's not going to cause a carbon footprint that would be tremendous. And as you know, at World Youth Day, and it can get really daunting to see how much garbage
Exactly.
is left.
So it'll be good. I'm looking forward to seeing that in Lisbon, to see how in Rio I was impressed at how quickly they cleaned up, but there was a lot of garbage. So now we have to see how much garbage there is before they clean up to help them clean up fast.
But don't forget, in Rio they had bulldozers. That was the cool thing.
Yeah, it was like, no, but it was amazing. It's like Copacabana, the street, whatever the street is, was like littered. And like the mass ended at noon or whatever, and like by 3 o'clock that street was clean.
That street was
open
clean
for traffic. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how Lisbon's going to work because the Parque de Encuentro is in a very central location. There's not that bad to get to. Obviously, when you have the metro to take you to a certain spot, and then you have a nice 5 to 7 minute walk, and then of course going through security measures, how that's going to work out. It's going to be interesting. I mean, ideally, like what we talked about with packing, like, please be aware that there will be no shade at the Parque de Encuentro. Same
if
with
we haven't said that enough. I don't think we've said that enough.
No, I think we need to echo it again.
A hat. I sound like my mother. Wear a hat.
Sunblock for sure, like bug spray for sure. Like, I mean, I was even looking at some of the images of the not just the Colina de Encuentro, which is where the beginning is, but the final vigil site, right? And then the mass site. There is no trees whatsoever. It is an open field area.
Yeah, I know. It looks like a construction site almost.
Well, right now it is. Absolutely. They're just finishing the stage. They have already the zones figured out. They're already putting in little tents for first aid, and then tents for the
for food and media
right. It's moving in that direction, but be aware, like, then now that we're like 12 days away from World Youth Day, like, as things are getting moving, you're right now at the point where it's like, okay, I need to finish packing, or I need, and like Deacon Pedro mentioned jokingly last time on our episode that he's already like, he likes having it all set and ready to go. I'm the type of guy that will, like, all right, I'll throw a couple things in the bag and then just go because, it's a pilgrimage. Like, do I really need everything? Absolutely. In this trip, you should pre-plan everything because some of you are leaving probably in the next couple of days for your days of encounter or the days in a diocese.
And that's coming up. Exactly. Like, I have groups. There are groups leaving on the 25th, I guess that's the beginning of days in the diocese.
Yeah.
I need to know what I'm taking just to make sure that the laundry's done, because if it's like I'm packing in the morning, it's like I didn't do laundry, then I'm like, yeah, that's it. Tell me something. Do you know, I don't see it, but is the youth festival schedule out?
Not yet. So, I mean, that's a really good question. The youth festival information will be out probably early next week. But let's talk a little bit about some of those youth festivals, because we already have some
Yeah,
dates
we do. I've
with
been talking to some people who are
some
organizing
people.
events.
So let's go over a couple. I mean, that's the goal of today's show, is to give you guys an insight of some of the events that are happening at the same time, some of the things that we are covering while at World Youth Day, so that for those of you guys not going to World Youth Day, for whatever reason that may have been, that you can still participate by viewing the live streams, or you're reliving the memories and the shows. And we'll have these videos not only from Vatican Media, but also on our website, worldyouth.com. I'm sure it will be also on Salt and Light Media, where they will recap some of those main events as well, especially those things that are covered with the opening mass and the Holy Father's visit. Those you can get almost anywhere. But let's go.
And I know,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but I
No.
know that even some local conferences are putting out like their own schedule. So like the Canadian bishops put out the main, so it's got the overall World Youth Day schedule, but they inserted the Canadian gathering, which by the way, now it's at 10 a.m. on Tuesday.
Perfect.
Tuesday, August 1st, 10 a.m. at a park.
You know the name of the park, because that would
I
be.
do know the name. I do know the name of the park because I'm connected to.
I was going to say, you're Canadian. Come on now.
No, I'm actually going to say this is a good suggestion. If people, I hate to promote WhatsApp, but I'm telling you,
Oh,
like,
man.
if you don't use WhatsApp, WhatsApp is probably the best way for you to communicate while you're away. I know people in North America. I mean, if you travel a lot, or if you have relatives outside of North America, you probably have WhatsApp. But if you don't, it's not a thing that people in North America use very much. But download it. It's free. You can delete it afterwards. It's super easy. If you have Wi-Fi, if you have a SIM card, or you get a different phone, it's easier to transfer your WhatsApp to the SIM card without changing your number. So it's really easy. What the Canadian committee did is that they created a WhatsApp group so that all the Canadian groups can actually register and get broadcasts. But so it's easy to get information from the Canadian conference or from the Canadian organizers. There are 5,000 Canadian pilgrims going.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. It's not compared to the America. I mean, US has, I don't know how many, 20,000 or something?
27,000, I think.
27,000. Yeah. So maybe this is something that the US conference wants to do, create a little WhatsApp channel, and that way you register. And you can also communicate back, because if there's, God forbid, an issue with one of your pilgrims that is lost or loses their passport and has to have consular services, you should let your conference director know. So if you're in the United States, you should let Paul Jarzembowski and his office know. If there's an issue like that, if you're Canadian, let Isabel Correa know. If you're Australian, let
Malcolm.
Is it Malcolm? I was going to say, is Malcolm still there? So that they know. Doesn't mean that they have to get involved, but they should know, because they're the ones responsible in a way, indirectly, for all the pilgrims that are going from that country. The Canadian gathering is taking place at 10 a.m. on August 1st at the Parque Urbano da Quinta da Granja. Parque Urbano Granja. So if you're Canadian and you'd like to know more about that, get in touch with us, or try to get in touch with our Canadian coordinator, Isabel Correa. Go to World Youth Day Canada, look them up online or on social media, and get connected with them, so that you can be part of that gathering and part of any other events that might be specific for Canadians.
And the Australian gathering is happening the same day at 3:00 in the afternoon at the Quinta das Conchas, which is the same location where the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops are having on the 2nd of August. That's Wednesday, at 7:00 in the evening. So I'm looking at it right now, as because one of our good friends, Father Rob Gallia, who we've had on the show, has multiple concerts throughout the week of World Youth Day, and that's where he will also be that day for the Australian gathering, because he's a priest from Australia.
Sorry, right. I'm writing all this down, as everybody else should. So if you see me not paying attention, it's because I'm writing it down.
No, you're good. And so we have now the dates for the Canadians. We have the time, the location. We have the date and the time for the Australians. We have the date and the time for the Americans. So we'll try our best to get a live stream going for these events if we can. But we will definitely be, for the Americans present there, we will be live streaming their event. For those of you guys who don't understand how live stream works, usually there's only one camera lens, one camera angle for a live stream. And then what happens later is that our media crew will then take the other video that we recorded during that time and we'll mesh it together and make a recap video. The whole thing will be replayed in a recorded video rather than live stream, due to the fact that we also have to consider the fact that Wi-Fi might not be as strong as we would like. And to imagine being in an environment where you have 4 different camera angles and trying to connect them all wiring with electrical issues at a park. We would be lucky.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
It's not. That easy. So that's what we're going to be doing at those events.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for those of you that might be listening in that are not traveling, or if you want to let your parents or your relatives know that they might not be going and they want to at least check in and see, oh, I'm curious to know what the US gathering is. My son, my daughter is there. You can log in and watch the live stream a little bit, get a sense of what it's like. And then afterwards you can watch the whole thing, as Dario said. Or Salt and Light Media is creating little clips. And you might want to watch a little clip with there will be, like, we're going to be at the Canadian gathering. It will not be live streamed, but we will have a little clip on our programming that our coverage starts on Thursday, because that's the first day of the first papal event on August 3rd. And on that day, we'll start showing little clips from the youth festival, from the Canadian gathering, about days in the diocese, about the pilgrimage of the cross, and any other aspect about World Youth Day. So that's also a good way to get little bits of information if you don't want to sit through a whole hour-and-a-half event, or anything like that.
And our World Youth Day Rocks episodes will continue during World Youth Day in the evening. So we'll be gathering together at 11:30 p.m. at night. From our rooftop studio, where we are going to do like a recap show. Very similarly, we will be live like this, but in person. And we will have those clips. We will try to take those clips, whether we'll take them from Salt and Light, or we'll take them from the participants of young people. We're going to be asking young people. And if you're a group leader taking young people to World Youth Day, you might want to consider possibly sharing some of your videos with us, so that way we can post them and broadcast them so the world can see what you guys are seeing, right?
Exactly. And don't freak out. 11 p.m. local time, Lisbon, is actually 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
So,
or 3 p.m. Pacific. 10, and for those of you
3
guys
p.m. Pacific. So yeah.
And again, those are live. That doesn't mean that you guys have to be at the live show. You could be the next morning. That show will be packaged, and you can rewatch that show at 6, 7 a.m. Your time the next day, because you thought to yourself, well, I like watching them live. And if you want to ask questions, that would be the best time to be there.
That's exactly it.
Live.
That's exactly it.
But that's really about it.
Live.
Yeah. If you're not there live,
that's the worldyouthday.com. WYD Central, Salt and Light Media coverage. Of course, everybody's going to be covering all the main events, starting with the opening mass on Tuesday, the papal welcome on Thursday, the Way of the Cross on Friday, the vigil on Saturday, and the closing mass on Sunday. That is all available through Vatican Media. You can watch it on the Vatican YouTube page. That's a great place to watch, especially if you're looking for different languages. Salt and Light Media will be covering on Salt and Light Television all those events. Probably not live, because live it will be like in the middle of the afternoon, so we'll probably air them at prime time, so that if you're in Canada and you wanted to watch what the Pope is doing, what the young people are doing in Lisbon, you can do so. EWTN, Catholic TV, Shalom Media, Shalom World, everybody's going to be doing the same thing. Of course, I'm going to put in a plug for Salt and Light Media, because that'll be the best coverage. And then I don't know, worldyouthday.com, are you guys on your website streaming any of the main events?
So everything will be taken from Vatican Media, of course, because that's what every outlet will be doing the same thing, taking it from Vatican Media and broadcasting it that way through our website. So if you go on our website, worldyouthday.com, there will be a page that will come up very soon that will be live stream, or the initiatives page. It's not up yet, and it will be up soon. Our website is going to have a nice little facelift in the next couple of days, or I want to say in a couple hours, because we're still working on trying to get the new website up. Right now, we're just we still have the old interface up, and
That's
so
funny that you say that. It seems like everybody right before World Youth Day is like we're doing the same thing. Like all of a
yeah.
sudden our website, and we've got like the Knights of Columbus convention,
Oh
and there's
gosh,
World Youth
yeah,
Day, and then we're preparing for the Synod in October. So there's all these
that's
things that
right.
are coming together that have to be on our website. But in the coming days, I think maybe next week you'll see that it's very clear where to go to for our World Youth Day coverage. slmedia.org. The specific link should be slmedia.org/WYD. But if not, just go to Salt and Light, slmedia.org, and you'll find where all the World Youth Day coverage is, blog posts, all the speeches from the Holy Father, the homilies, the events of the Holy Father outside of World Youth Day. All that will be in one handy dandy place where you can find it in English, in French, and in Chinese. So
Oh,
if
you
you
guys are doing
wanted to
Chinese
have
too. What happened to
Chinese,
Spanish, man?
yeah, sorry, if you want Spanish, go to
All right,
American
Vatican Media.
WTN would
We'll put the
have a
link on our
Vatican Media would have
website for the
Spanish.
Spanish. Don't worry. You guys
Yeah,
cover Mandarin. That's awesome.
we'll do Cantonese actually. Yeah,
Oh, you
there's
do Cantonese. Wow, you guys
yeah,
are going all old school traditional then. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
So you guys can see there's a lot of great coverage that was going to be at this World Youth Day. Although one of the things that I did mention with Vatican Media, I was on an interview with them talking about the whole issue of like, what do we hope, journalists will cover at World Youth Day? It's nice to see the Pope traveling, and sometimes people will focus on, look, the Pope is now taking a trip to Portugal, and that's it. Or look, there's young people gathering, and the Pope said a bunch of words about young people, and that's it. Our goal is to cover also the stories of vocation, the stories of conversion, the stories that are transforming lives, those special encounters with Christ that we will be focusing on. And that's what Catholic media strives to do. And as you might not see the perfect coverage all the time. Don't be discouraged. Like, you will see a lot more coming very soon. There's reasons behind the fact that sometimes Catholic media can't get those news bits out to you guys faster than what we could before. A lot of it has to deal with the internet. A lot of it has to deal with time. A lot of it has to also deal with the manpower. Not every media outlet sends like 15 people to World Youth Day.
Yeah, except EWTN.
Yeah,
Well, and they're covering in several languages,
yeah.
and they have their Europe team. But that's a very good point, Dario. If you really want to get, if you're not going to World Youth Day and you really want to get a sense of the real World Youth Day, not again, the coverage that Salt and Light does, the coverage that worldyouthday.com does, like we're following the pilgrims, the pilgrimage. We're focusing on World Youth Day. We're not distracted by, oh, the Pope said this, and it's, let's make a connection with the sex abuse case,
Or
or
politics that come involved with
or the
that. Yeah.
politics that come out of that. So other networks are more interested in that. Some networks are only interested in what the Pope is doing. We're interested in World Youth Day and what the pilgrims are doing. So if you really want a real World Youth Day experience, I really recommend worldyouthday.com or Salt and Light, slmedia.org. And
Yeah.
by the way, our page is up, slmedia.org/WYD.
Good. So
Yeah.
we're going to get there. Give us a little bit of time. It's exactly what Deacon Pedro mentioned. Like, we want nothing more than World Youth Day to be emphasized, strengthened, and remembered. And the fact that young people that will attend it will have such an amazing, powerful encounter with the risen Lord that they will come back forever changed because of it. So be on the lookout. There's going to be a lot of cool things that we're live streaming. But let's go over a couple more things from youth festivals that you know of. So I know Father Rob Gallia has already, and Ivan Diaz already have sent out, and I think Life Teen as well for XLT, for those of you guys that are very involved with Life Teen.
Right.
They've already have it on their social media pages that they have, here are where I'm going to be, here's where we are going to be, here's what's going to happen. So you're going to be able to see those musicians, whether you're at those international encounters that we've already talked about, the Canadian, the Australian, and the American gatherings, or if you want to see them in concert, those are places to go. I want to put a big plug for two main places for patrons of World Youth Day. So worldyouthday.com, along with Catholic community, the Catholic Christian Outreach from Canada, is hosting the Blessed Carlo Acutis Center. So the relics of Carlo Acutis, along with his story, along with adoration, along with holy cards and stickers that are going to be handed out, learning a lot, and the displays on Carlo Acutis' life is going to be held at the Basilica of the Church of the Martyrs. So the Basilica of the Church of the Martyrs, starting on Tuesday, you will be able to venerate the relic of the heart of Carlo Acutis that currently right now is traveling to the United States. It's coming to Lisbon, Portugal for World Youth Day. So everybody will be able to get a chance to pray with Carlo to our Lord, who's present in the Eucharist, who will be exposed at the church. So there is activities throughout the event. CCO, Catholic Christian Outreach, has a great link that they will be on their social media. We will be broadcasting their link as well on worldyouthday.com, so that way you guys can get connected to that. Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati and St. John Paul II are together in one church, as well as worldyouthday.com has connected with the JP2 project, and they, along with the USCCB and a couple other organizations, are going to be doing displays on on Blessed Pier Giorgio, on St. John Paul II. There will also be relics there of both saints. I believe for Blessed Pier Giorgio, you can see the pickaxe of Blessed Pier Giorgio and his rosary, his personal rosary that he held. And then the relic of St. John Paul II will be also present there for veneration. So, and that is going to be at the Church of the Rosary. So the Basilica Church of the Holy Rosary, or Our Lady of the Rosary Church in Lisbon. So for those of you guys that are really interested, those are two great places to visit. Again, that's the Basilica Church of the Martyrs, where you'll find the Blessed Carlo Acutis Center. I spelled center as the Canadian way of doing it because that's just the way it's spelled.
Correct way of doing it.
Then the JP2 project is, along with worldyouthday.com and USCCB, is hosting the event for Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati and St. John Paul II, and that is at the Church of Our Lady of the Rosary. There is events with bishops speaking about Blessed Pier Giorgio. And there's also, speakers. I believe Jason Everett, who wrote the book on the 5 loves of John Paul II, will be there, along with Chris Stefanik, talking about how providential having World Youth Day being held in Lisbon, very close to Fatima, how important Fatima was to both Blessed Pier Giorgio and St. John Paul II. Nice. So that's happening there. Father Rob Gallia will be performing at the Blessed Carlo Acutis Center Tuesday night. So for those of you guys going to the Australian gathering and the Canadian gathering, right after the opening mass at Parque de Encuentro, go over to Our Lady, not Our Lady of the Rosary, that's on Wednesday and Thursday, but the Basilica of the Martyrs, which is not that far from the Parque de Encuentro. And that evening, starting at 9 p.m., Father Rob Gallia will be leading a concert / holy hour with Carlo. So you'll be able to encounter Christ in the Eucharist with Carlo, who said many, many times that the Eucharist was his highway to heaven, right? And the more time you spend time before the Eucharist, the more you become saints. So, I mean, if that helps, those are 2 huge ones. I know there's more.
There's so much. I mean, there's, again, the schedule's not out, but there's like 100 concerts, musical groups, in 9 stages. There's conferences, there's exhibitions, which includes the ones Dario has just mentioned. There's theater, there's dance, there's a sports day on the Wednesday that we talked about, soccer and volleyball.
That's right.
There are religious events, so prayer events. There are movies, there's a film festival. The museums, there's free admission to museums in Lisbon if you're a World Youth Day pilgrim. So that might be something you might want to do before the World Youth Day starts or right after. I know that the
This is all starting Tuesday, though. Make sure you guys know that. Starting Tuesday.
All starting on Tuesday. The Shalom community from Brazil is doing their Hallel festival that they do. They've been doing it.
Hallelujah festival, you mean?
At all. So I don't know when or what time or where, but that's a huge, beautiful prayer, music, worship event that you might want to attend to. It's good if there are only 9 stages. I think that's good. It's manageable. You won't feel too spread out. And then there's a City of Joy that I think we need to remember that's a central place where there's the vocations fair. where you can learn about not just religious congregations, but also other opportunities like net ministries or other mission opportunities.
Movements and so on. Yeah.
And that's also where the reconciliation park is going to be, to go to confession. It's always good to go to confession. It's good to
Yes.
go to confession.
And that, by the way, is being held in the area called Belém. So there's a
Yeah.
beautiful shrine of Our Lady of Belém. It's not that far of a train ride. Actually, you just take the metro over the Cage de Sodre and the metro station there, and then you take the train 2-3 stops, and you're already over at Belém. So it's not that far to go to. You can also get a Lime scooter and just have fun, scooting around Lisbon.
I don't know about that, but yeah, okay.
It's good stuff.
Okay.
And the food, don't get too excited about pilgrim food because it might not be exciting, but it still will be good.
That's all right. Make sure
yeah.
you get a good Portuguese asal. What do you? Sorry, that's
Well,
not.
no, there's no asado. We're not in Brazil here.
Yeah, but yeah, I know, but it's
You know what
churrasco. Yeah, they're
the churrasco is
churrasqueros.
good, but if you're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
have
so
anything
good, and a
valuable,
good bottle of red port wine.
the
If you
pastel
open
de
up
Belém and the pastel de nata,
the pastel,
custard.
pastel de nata, you can't have too many.
You can't, and it's so good. And
that's why you need to have extra room in your suitcase to make sure you
Yes.
bring some back. Make sure you bring a bottle of port wine back.
And especially for your parish priest. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, but look, we can give you a lot more, but to be honest with you, there's nothing more that we can give you besides like our prayers are with you guys. Be prepared for this encounter. We look forward to, if you guys see us in Lisbon, please let us know.
Yeah.
Say hi to us. Tell us that you watch our show. That'd be great. I mean, if our show helped, great. But we'll be broadcasting live every night, recap shows. Deacon Pedro will join us on Thursday because he will be arriving Thursday into Lisbon. But we'll have the show starting on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just giving a little insight of what the vibe is, what the feel is for Lisbon, and some of the recap videos that we'll cover at the events. But yeah, we'll be there live starting every day on Sunday. I believe it's the 30th of September, excuse
31st.
me, the 31st of July.
30th
of July, every day until August 6th. Wow, it's coming up so quick. But anyways, we'll have a lot of these things posted on our websites. Please stay tuned. More detail will come soon. But from all of us at worldyouthday.com and WYD Central, thank you so much for joining us in the 60th episode. Wow. We will see you guys all in Lisbon.
Yes. See you in Lisbon.